Welcome, everyone. You're listening to How We Heal the podcast. I'm Kir Noel, medical intuitive, your host. Our sponsor is the medicinebuddhawithin.com, intuitive training for all. Check out their website and be registered to be invited to all the upcoming trainings. Now let's begin our show. Hi, welcome to How We Heal the podcast. I'm Kir Noel. I'm here with Dolly Indigo Star, an amazing individual with incredible, unique views that I met years ago when we ran into each other based on a TV show that I had been on briefly, and that we kind of connected. There was some footage and we had conversation. Dolly has the unique qualification of seeing the world through the eyes of I would say, elevated being, someone who doesn't just see our planet, our beingness, our people as this isolated entity that nothing else exists with. I'm very much looking forward to hearing what you see, because I've never had this conversation with you before, and hearing about, your Raw Talk sessions, your Riding Through the Unknown. These are some of the programs and events that you've been participating in and produced, and the documentaries you've worked on. And mainly, Dolly, how did you get to be Dolly? And thanks for joining me today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I am just myself, I guess. And that's the raw, authentic that I've always been brought up to believe in, is to be yourself. I grew up from very humble beginnings, a working class family, and used to bombard lots of questions out there to my mother and parents and family that they just could not answer. And I would take these questions to school, and they couldn't answer the questions that I had for them, like, who are we? Where do we come from? What is our purpose? And what is the overall end result? Nobody had the answers for me. It was kind of a bag of mixed answers that kind of didn't sit quite well with me. So
take us to that. I'm interrupting you, but take us to that time in your life. Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger sister, but she wasn't born at the time. So I did grow up a bit of an only child until I was about 8 years old. But along that journey between being born and being 8, I'd had a series of events that had happened to me that I considered as normal and what we would now call alien abduction. So I was...
and how do you how long have you remembered this your whole childhood?
Yeah, I've remembered it my whole childhood. I've remembered meeting these little beings from being a small child. I've remembered having visitations from beings. My parents have even clarified that at times I would go missing around the apartment where we lived, and it was on a very high-rise block of flats, and they would search for me, and then they would find me frantically. My mother, bless her, would find me in a cupboard or hiding under some washing somewhere, fast asleep, or always safe. But the windows would be open to the blocks of flats, and it's like 11 stories high. My parents would be frantic, thinking, where the hell have I gone? The window's open, where am I? And I'd grown up having a series of strange events and visitations, and I guess I was just always known as the weird kid, the kid that... if you wanted to know about ghosts, all the way through school from very young, or I was never afraid of ghosts or anything. I was more intrigued to be like, well, what is it? I can hear things. Can you hear it too? And do you feel this? And do you sense this? And people would just think I was the weirdo. you know, but very, very humble beginnings. And I guess, I mean, I took religious education at school. I was very interested in history and geography. I always wanted to be an archaeologist from a young child. And then, you know, we grow older, life happens, and, you know, we have children, and the rest is history. But those visitations have never stopped all the way through from my childhood to now being an adult. And now I just see them as my guides, a higher
So take
part of
so
myself.
can you take us through like anything that happened in the last 5 years that you had as a visitation? Would you that you call a visitation? Can you share anything about it?
In the last 5 years.
Or even 10 years? Anything that's happened to you or
10
any
years.
time
My
in your
mind's kind of blank because I have so many interactions. Some have been public while I've been in public. Though I've had two strange interactions in the last 5 years of meeting what we would call hybrids.
explain to the audience what is a hybrid?
A hybrid is a mixture between a human and um, full star family citizen, I would say.
So is a full star family a citizen from another planet? Is that what we're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah,
They don't,
yeah.
they're not, or their origins are not from this planet.
No, no, we're talking like interstellar, you know, visitors and things like that. So, for instance, I was with someone, I won't say who I was with. We were in a public place, we were on an escalator, and there was a male and a female. I'd say the female was about 16. I'd say the male was about 14, 13, very young. They both had lilac hair and lilac eyes that were almond shaped. They kind of telepathically communicated with us both. They were just interested to see us, to meet us. They had a brief snippet of time or moment where they could come through at that
And
moment. That
just
was
look,
it. And they
I
just
just lost the
wanted.
connection. I think they're interrupting your talking.
Probably. Shall I
Yeah,
go
I
back?
think so.
Shall I go
No,
back?
I couldn't. Let's go back to just what you said they were interested in, and then it cut out.
They were interested in just the interaction of meeting us. They kind of looked at us wide eyed, like, kind of like, you can see us kind of thing. They were really wide eyed because I was looking directly at them. Basically, when I do see these things, I'm, you know, quite normal and human like everybody else. I'm a little bit gobsmacked when I do see things like this, and I'm like, wow, wow, you know, it does like wow me. I do get the wow factor when I meet these beings. And I think that's kind of why I meet so many, perhaps, is that I'm not scared. I don't freak out. I don't, you know, I just absorb what they've come to interact with. And that was just a brief moment, and it was interesting. It was interesting. They both looked very, very similar,
Where
almost
were you
like
in the world?
twins.
Where were you in the where were you in the world when that happened?
Geographically, I was in
Yes.
Plymouth in England, and I was in the town centre, and I was on an escalator,
Wow.
and
Wow.
they passed me on an
Escalator.
escalator.
That's interesting.
It was a bit like a movie moment, you know, where heads turn and you lock eyes. It was kind of
Interesting.
like that, but they were so in time together. Like they both turned and both made eye contact with me and the person that I was with. And the person that I was with was kind of wow and saying the same thing, that, you know, it was almost as though that they only had that moment to interact with us.
So you've been encountering or being reached out to by beings since you were a little girl,
Yeah.
right? Since you were very little. And you've been, just open to it. It sounds like you have no, as an adult,
Mm.
so you've been followed or found by these other beings from other places. From my interview with Betsy Lewis, who has similar encounters that you've described. You have, you're not
Some are from
afraid.
here. Yeah. Some are from
Um,
Earth.
some
Some,
are from Earth. And
yes.
explain the idea of. I remember this phrase in our culture called indigo children. Is there kind of a phrase? Is there a language about or a discussion about beings that are here that are more evolved than we are? Do you have a language, or is there a word for that we can learn?
I'm not sure. I think that we are just more open. We're wired a little bit differently. Let's perhaps say that my mum's indigo as well. So my mum's like a first wave. She was like 60s. And my grandmother, who's now passed on, this indigo started like way back. The kids started evolutionary changing, I'd say, towards the end of the Second World War is what kicked it off. It sent ripples through the cosmos, and humanity almost sent out like a beacon calling for change way back then. We kind of leaped forwards, and through the 70s and 80s, especially 60s, 70s, 80s, the waves of the indigos that came flooding in to bring this generation forward that we have now stepping in, as in the rainbow children and the crystal children that are really now more highly intuitive on a higher spiritual consciousness level, guiding us through, basically.
And yeah, indigo children were this idea of some enlightened, more intuitive beings being born here.
Yes.
Right, a culture, and you're talking about your lineage of it, your grandma, your mother,
Mm-hmm.
and you, and that's been, yeah, I've heard about that, the ideology and the language of it. I've heard in passing maybe for 40, 50 years.
Mm,
So that for me that was the set.
mm.
So, and then how did you bring these interactions into your work life? Have you had a way to kind of become a teacher about it, or engage and interview people who also have those interactions? Tell us about how you've kind of become someone who teaches about this or actively shares about it.
I started out just looking for people basically that were like me, that were different, that were like me. And a lot of starseeds globally connected with a lot of things that I was coming forward with on the internet and social media and sharing. And I got to know many people globally, work with lots of people globally, go to lots of places and visit and have really deep spiritual awakenings and interactions, and learning more about what it is to be a starseed, let's say. Follow my genetic footprints and what I intuitively feel that will guide me forward to work with individuals as well. So basically, I work on intuition. I work on intuition in my everyday life, and I do that for a living. And I'm employed um, as a PA for someone. And when I finish working with them, I will be called to someone else and to someone else. I've worked with many
You
people.
say PA, Dolly, I'm interrupting, but what does PA mean? What does PA mean?
So a PA is a personal assistant.
Mm-hmm.
So I get signposted through local facilities such as council facilities or programs, or people that are basically in need, either in some way through either mental health or disabilities, or it can be anything basically. And I'm sent to work with them and guide them and mentor and, provide a service, a
Beautiful.
humanitarian service. So I actually work direct with the people.
So you get to use your ability as an intuitive and
Yes.
your starseed sensibility.
Yeah.
So you're kind of, it sounds like you're really in a very grassroots way elevating the path for the people you work with, because you're bringing that view that they might not have on their own, right? You might not know how to
Mhm.
guide themselves this way.
Yeah. But I never push my beliefs on anyone. I've never enforced my beliefs or, I'm an open book, let's say. And I am an empath as well. And, I am, we're all self healers. We talked about healing and we all have this ability. So I use all of my abilities that I've got. So all of my little tools that I've got, intuition, healing, hands-on healing, manifesting things. I use everything in my day-to-day work and life. And I guess that's what kind of makes me different, because I've been public about it. And I've not been afraid to use my abilities, and people know who I am and what I do and what I believe in.
You've been very vocal. Yeah. Well, you're doing it in your life, not just, there's kind of people have the opportunity, some of us, to have a stage, and people listen in groups, but the real, I think, the sensibility of day-to-day interaction and how to function in this world as it is, it's with meeting someone like you. It's like giving us those wings. Everyone needs those wings. So tell us about what you did online, with the riding the unknown, which I was interested to hear more about. Riding through the unknown and the raw talk sessions. You did things online that actually people could watch now.
Mm,
Some of them are still available, and see, what your belief system what they are, and what you continue to grow about. So tell
mm.
us more about those if you'd like.
I just interview people from all over the world. I get something and I just go straight to the nitty gritty, and I interview people. So I made raw talk sessions. And I thought, people want to hear the raw talk. They don't want to see anything edited or anything cut out, or, you know. So the raw talk sessions is different guests on all perspectives, from astral travel to healing to uh, esoteric knowledge. There's quite a wide variety of subjects that, I went into, and then we made boots on the ground where we went out to actually visit places. So I've been to quite a lot of places globally as well to check out some of these megalithic structures and temples, and just to see what it's all about.
So tell me a little bit about, maybe I can tell you stories. I visited places that are energetically intense, that
Mm,
when I've been there, I feel like I'm home, and there's something
mm,
familiar about it. I got the chance to go to, in Greece, on the island of Ia, is the caldera, the volcano that is extinct, that is sunken below the ocean floor. And in the caldera, there's this story of Atlantis, that people believe Atlantis is
mm.
buried in this caldera. And I went there, and it was incredibly magnetic. It was just so magnetic and energized. So tell us someplace you've visited that
Mm.
we could learn about. So maybe some of us might want to go.
My last trip to Egypt was phenomenal. I went into the Bent Pyramid alone. I went in there alone. That was an interesting one. Went with an armed guard across the desert. That was interesting. Dendera is the place where I feel home, I would say.
Dendera.
Luxor, you've got the Valley of the Kings up there, and you've got Luxor Temple up there, and you've got Karnak and the Nile, and you've got, the many temples and the offbeat tracks that you can go up. It's phenomenal, the places you can go there. and just sit and spend time. I think sitting in Karnak last year alone, looking up at some of those statues, just sitting there alone. I got tourists to take pictures of me. And whereas I've always been with people. So I
Hmm.
think the last
Yeah.
time when I went alone, and stayed off the beaten track and went to see a few friends out there and went to some amazing places, that there was only me there. So on solstice, I got to open Dendera. I was the first person there, and I took a video of that. That was quite breathtaking, and I feel that for me, I feel really at home when I'm there. And the
Wow.
story on
Amazing.
the walls and the ceiling is amazing. So I'd recommend anyone that is going out to Egypt to check out Dendera. It's
So now that
beautiful.
you're sharing, I mean that I definitely want to see it. And so how does anyone find you if they're looking for, someone in Australia or someone in even Scotland or someone in South Africa? People, I have clients in those areas. Do they reach out to you on a website or a page? Where do we find you for this intuitive help?
This intuitive help, you can reach me on multiple places. I do work with some guys over at basistv .org. Those guys can be found on YouTube, Facebook, everywhere on social media.
Basis TV,
Yeah,
BASIS.
that's Miles Johnson. So you'll find me on there, some stuff on there.
Okay.
And you'll find me on spacelinktv.org. I've got all of my stuff on there. So I do quite a wide variety of subjects.
Yeah, I got a little glimpse, and it's a vast sea of wonderful energy and awakened information, which I think I'm looking for. Dolly, your life, was it easy to be out in the world doing what you do, or did you have people around you saying you're nuts? What are you doing? How
Oh,
did that evolve?
I
I
think
had a
I
little of that in my life.
Yeah, some people, I mean, still to this day, I still get like some people will, totally frown at me and call me the crazy alien lady, or she's a witch, or, call me some, indigo star, whatever I am, some people will, take. But I just chip it off because my experiences have been real. So that person's opinion kind of doesn't matter to me. It's like water off a duck's back. It's got no relevance to what I've seen and understand that my brain can process.
So it sounds like you're just going to do it anyway. So
Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway, and I'm gonna do it.
do you see yourself writing some of these stories into a book?
People keep asking. I do want to finally sit down and begin to write a book. Now I have got the time and some help. Because I think that's a big key factor is that, I live such a busy life. I'm a single mom, I work, I do interviews, I do humanitarian work for free and live just a busy lifestyle.
Oh yeah, it sounds wonderful. And you told me you did some documentaries.
Yeah, I've done some documentaries. I've done a few space documentaries on anomalies in space and what people would see as craft. I've done interviews with people for documentary. My last documentary I worked on was the Black Knight satellite. That was with Billy Carson. I'm working on a documentary at the moment with someone that's going to be coming out spring.
Do you
So,
know the name of it yet?
pardon?
Do you know the name of that new one you're working on?
No, it's top secret at the moment.
Oh,
It
it's
is
secret.
top
Okay.
secret. Yeah, it is top secret at the moment. But
Okay. Okay.
I'll send you a copy when it's out.
Fabulous. And do you want to share an email address or something so people can easily write you a question and see if you're open to working with them, being a teacher to them or
Mm.
giving them insight? I know this is what you do for a living, so it's a professional email contact. It's not let's get together
Yeah,
and have tea and be
yeah,
friends.
yeah. I do have a podcast coming. I do have a podcast coming that will be coming soon. But if people want to get hold of me directly, they can just email me at my email address. Um,
Okay, that's
we
good.
can
I can
attach
share
it.
it.
Yeah, you
I
can
can
share it
attach it and I'll share
rather
it.
than me put it out there on a huge podcast. If somebody wants to
Right.
get in touch, they can contact you, and you can give them my direct email.
Absolutely. Anybody look up Kir Noel and you will literally have a cell phone number, which is mine.
Because I've ended up in some bizarre places, Kia. It could be
I'm
anywhere,
sure.
you know?
It's true. I'm sure. I've been there to myself. So you know what? It's interesting, Dolly. We're both sitting here. I'm intuitive. You're intuitive. That's how we live our lives. And I wanted to ask us something, which I think is so unique to this moment. So we're both actively being who we are in the world. I'm not holding back. That's why I did the podcast. Like, you need to share everything you have inside that can help this world heal right now.
Mm.
Do we see a path forward? I'm going to ask us. Do we see a path forward? And I'm going to ask you to answer. Do you see a path forward? And I'll share as well. But what do you see about this time in history?
There is a path forward because out of darkness comes light. And this is darkness we are experiencing right now across the planet, globally, I would say. That these are dark times that we are living in, and that we have to use our discernment and intuition and focus on healing the planet on a whole for the future of our children and future generations. But basically it lies in the hands with us all, each and every one of us as individuals, to make that change in the world.
I 100% agree. This is a transformative moment. And the darkness that we talked about, I think, is ever growing. We haven't reached the point where I think there's an alarm is loud enough that everyone is woken up. That's how I feel. So when I look at people in my age category, now I'm in my 60s, and most of them are talking about, well, I'm retiring. Maybe it's almost the feeling I'm getting is I'm not worried. I'm like, how could you not be thinking that this is going to affect your life? Under no circumstances do I know any better than anyone else. But for myself, I say, whatever you have to help with the world healing, do it now.
Mm,
And I think, to, you know, maybe even say prayers and meditate and those are activities
absolutely.
I seem to enjoy, but for my own comforts. But
Mm,
to make a change right now in this world, I think
mm,
requires everyone to take action.
mhm.
Um, Cast is one of my actions, but it is certainly for me. It's just the beginning of all the actions I choose to take today. I've started doing some live streams. I've gotten on all these social media platforms to continue to tell people they have a choice about what they allow into their mind, how much and what they grow. If you want to change and bring good things to this world, you have to grow the good in you. We just do.
Yeah.
And I think what I see in the outside world is the reflection of this interior deep disturbance that much of humanity has. And it's come out of the complexity of the political, social, economic systems. And it's also about we are so separated from each other by
Mm,
these language, the idea, like when you say indigo or and intuitive beings that are here.
mm,
I too see that we have a huge amount of people here that are open and doing and bringing their intuitive selves. They're just bringing it. So yeah, I agree with you. I think we're in the beginning of the end of the darkness, the
mm,
beginning of the end, which could take decades
mm,
or 10 minutes. It's up to us.
mm.
It's up to us. So
It
your
is up to
podcast,
us.
yeah. So you have,
But our star families are out there and they are guiding us as well. And I do believe that I have every faith in that they will not let humanity wipe itself out in any way. So I do believe in divine intervention, and I do believe in our guides, and I do have our faith that
I
that
do too.
they're going to assist us, and that they're hearing us. The beacon call has gone out, and they're there at us.
Good. That's wonderful. And so when people listen to this podcast, I'm going to, at the end of the podcast, I'll add an email address for myself, and I can certainly connect
Yeah.
you with Dolly. Um, yeah, and it's been incredible to hear a little bit about your life, which has been extraordinary. And by no means do I think either of us is done with
No, I was
exploration.
gonna say that's nothing. That's just a fraction.
Just a fraction.
Just a
So
fraction.
I appreciate you showing up today, and tell
Thank you so
my
much.
audience where you are located in the world, not just in general, because we need to realize there are people like Dolly and myself in many parts of the world. So where are you located, Dolly? Where do you
I'm
live?
located in a little place in South Devon near Dartmoor, and I basically live on Dartmoor. Very
Okay.
beautiful place with lots of stone circles.
Gorgeous. And I live near the Catskill Reservoir, which is the
Mm.
water for New York City, but it's also, this valley. I live in a valley of mountain range, a mountain range called the Catskills. So there's this vortex of energy here, which
Wow.
drew me from New York City, and I'm a staunch New Yorker. And when this place was shown to me, I thought I have to live here. So
Brilliant.
it's really everything I get to do comes out of this,
Are you
incredible
in a
energy flow.
lowland?
No, I'm not.
No.
No, 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 but it's an energy flow area. There's a tremendous, I feel like it's an ancient landing space for higher beings. It just feels like I live in
Interesting.
an ancient, yeah. So I'm just looking forward to hearing your podcast. Can you tell us the theme of it or no?
The theme of it is going to be absolutely everything and anything what people want to talk about to do with anything from consciousness to cosmic creepiness or fun or anything from the paranormal to the witchy woo. So it's covering everything.
Fantastic. Well, I should maybe give you a couple of my guest names to
I'm going to
enhance and
have you on. Let's have you as a
Oh,
guest.
you've got me. Absolutely.
I've got you.
I'd love to share. Absolutely.
Thank you
So
so
thank you,
much.
Dolly. Thank you for doing this and getting through the technical difficulties that this requires us to get through. And if I can help you in any way with your new venture, let me know. And everyone, please reach out to me, Kir Noel. Look that name up online and get my cell phone and text me. I want Dolly Star's contact information. She's a professional, indigo, adult, amazing, amazing, awakened being who has elevated everyone she sees, who gives direction and kindness, and we're having intuitive interruptions by the beings that come to find her as we get our phone gets stopped. All right, Dolly, thank you so much. We want to thank the following people: Jennifer Maidman for original music. Listen to her on iTunes and Spotify. True English of Upstate Podcast Studio for sound and recording engineering. And all our executive producers. See you next time.